Disneyland is your land.
Come seek an adventure at the old pirates, eh?
Make the jump to light speed.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Welcome to the Disneyland Beat, where our toes tap to a Disneyland drum.
And we always whistle while we work.
Hi, I'm Amy.
And I'm TC. If you only have one day at Disneyland and you're wondering how you're going to squeeze everything in, the truth is you won't. There's just too much to do and see, to do it all in one day.
But that doesn't mean you can't feel as if you've experienced the parks in totality by getting the most out of the best attractions at Disneyland. There are attractions at Disneyland that might not fit into your time frame.
Now, this list could change for you if you have toddlers or very young children experiencing things for the first time, but otherwise, our view is that ticket prices are so high, you should enjoy the best attractions the park has to offer.
So, that said, this is our list of Disneyland attractions and experiences one-day visitors can just skip without feeling like you're missing out.
Number 10, Goofy Sky School. It's kind of an off-the-shelf little wild mouse coaster. It's just like the rest of them. Almost every theme park in the country with coasters has one of these, even if they are fun. You often find them at large fairs and carnivals, so they can even be set up and torn down very quickly.
All of that wouldn't matter too much if it had amazing Disney quality theming, right? Well, the flying lesson signs are still fun, but there are no sound effects as there used to be, and it's a bit of a rust bucket.
But even then, if it's all set up, it's still kind of a weak theme with no attempt at enclosure of the track. It's just a fairground ride to us. Easily passed by, especially if it has long waits.
Number 9, Bippity Boppity Boutique. This fairly high-end retail location in Sleeping Beauty's castle offers princess and prince costumes with individual makeup and hairstylists so you can dress your kids up to the nines.
While this place is cute and fun, the makeup and hairdos can melt away on a hot day. And it's both pricey and time-consuming.
Why not just dress your kid up before you get to the park so you can make sure they have what they need to make it through the whole day?
And you can just stop by the boutique for some free pixie dust.
Number 8, Pirate's Lair on Tom Sawyer's Island. This was a tough one to put on the list. We love the island, but it's hard to justify the time it takes to get to the island, walk around, and catch a ferry back if you're trying to get all the park's major e-ticket attractions done in one day.
Walt Disney's brainchild, the island is full of Disneyland history, and it still has a very fun Pirates of the Caribbean cavern to walk through and bridges to explore, but gone is Fort Wilderness, essentially anyhow, and you can't access Tom and Huck's treehouse anymore. Most of the old streams have run dry.
Not to mention that you can see the island from the sailing ship Columbia and Mark Twain, which might be a more iconic experience for your bucket list.
The carousels. This one goes along with the idea of skipping rides that you could easily do somewhere else. At Disneyland, there's the beautiful King Arthur's Carousel, and at DCA, there's the fun Jesse's Critter Carousel.
Jesse's Critter Carousel is certainly the more unique of the two with its menagerie of animals and fun original songs. Nevertheless, both of them are simply carousels and not worth long waits.
And the one at Disneyland is full of history. But we would like to point out, and we'll say it again, with many spinning Disney rides, simply watching and appreciating them for a few moments is often just as satisfying as riding them.
Number 6, riding both Casey Jr. Circus Train and the Storybook Land canal boats. These two rides both circle the same land of Disney Story miniatures, though we do usually prefer the canal boats with its narration and closer views.
But the lines for both of these can get pretty long, and they have cramped quarters while you're waiting, so you're not missing much if you only experience one of these attractions.
Number 5, Disneyland Theater. Disneyland has 2 theater shows running, the Royal Theater with its retelling of the Rapunzel and Beauty and the Beast stories, and the Fantasyland Theater with its small show, Tale of the Lion King running.
Both of these shows have a similar street performer style, Commedia dell'arte, where some wonderful actors tell these stories with minimal props, bare-bones sets, and costumes.
The lack of production values is most noticeable at the Fantasyland Theater, which previously housed the tech-heavy spectacle Mickey's Magical Map.
Of course, it depends on your day. Both shows are fun, and the actors are great, and it's nice to rest in the shade for a moment for sure.
But there's no air conditioning. The shows are pretty simple and forgettable and not too unlike your local children's theater productions.
Number 4, the Disneyland Monorail. We're certain we're going to have some folks say that this is a can't miss. And perhaps if you're here for the history of riding the first monorail in the Western Hemisphere, then by all means, make time for the monorail.
If you are staying at the Disneyland on-property hotels, then riding it into the park in the mornings can be a great idea.
But if you go to other Disney parks where the monorail is used as transportation, or you have to frequent light rail in your daily commute, the Disneyland monorail might not have that much to offer you.
Some of the ride, you get great views of Tomorrowland and the Matterhorn, but a good part of the ride, you're just looking at Harbor Boulevard or backstage space.
It's an easy skip if you don't need transportation between downtown Disney and Tomorrowland, and when you factor in that there's no air conditioning and you can't sit up front with the pilot anymore, you might just give it a pass.
Number 3, the Spinners. Both parks have a series of spinning flat rides. Disneyland has Dumbo the Flying Elephant, the Mad Tea Party, and Tomorrowland's Astro Orbiters, while DCA houses the Golden Zephyr, the Silly Symphony Swings, and the Emotional Whirlwind.
These are all really fine rides, and a step above your average fairground spinning flat ride for sure, especially in terms of theming. Dumbo offers nice views of Fantasyland, has great music and voice acting, the Golden Zephyr is beautiful to see in motion, shining in the sun, and the Emotional Whirlwind is also a lovely piece that has great music and voices too.
But they are all fairly tame flat rides that offer the same nice spinning and height. And again, these rides are often just as much fun to watch as they are to ride, and you can experience most of what there is to experience in a few moments watching from the ground.
So if the lines are long, which they often can be, don't feel bad about skipping any of these spinny flat rides.
Number 2, Chip 'n Dale's Gadget Coaster. This one was tough to put on the list too. This coaster is beautifully themed and decorated. There are statues of Gadget, Chip, Dale, and Zipper that talk and even squirt water.
The track is super fun, zips around cliffs, over pools, through tunnels, but it also holds the unfortunate title of being the shortest Disneyland ride ever, clocking in an exciting but minute 44 seconds of ride time.
If it's a walk-on, it's worth your time, but wait times can get pretty long. So if you're running short on time, you might just hang out for a minute and watch it run through and catch this kiddie coaster next time.
Number 1, great moments with Mr. Lincoln. It is kind of sad to us that we put this on this list. We do love the history of good Disney edutainment, and this wonderful historic museum-like attraction would fit in perfectly at the Smithsonian. The updated show is interesting, visually impressive, and moving.
It is, of course, pure Disneyland history as well, being the first human audio animatronic the company created and put into use in a theme park, but that has a flip side. It can be hard to get excited watching an audio animatronic stand for the first time when you've been looking at much more advanced audio animatronics all day throughout the park.
And the history lesson is an excellent one, but however appropriate and needed it might be, it can be a hard sell with most families. Unless you're a die-hard Disney buff, you probably won't even realize that you missed this one.
Well, that's our top 10 list of attractions you can skip on your one-day Disneyland trip without getting major FOMO.
Thanks so much for joining us,
May the light in the firehouse window always shine brightly.
and may your dreams always come true.
See you real soon, Mouseketeers.
Oh, look, you put it here.